In class this week, we covered a tutorial on how to create and modify styles in Microsoft Word. Styles is a very important concept to your career as a professional writer. If you have any questions about why styles are important, please see me during office hours. For the purposes of this video, we're just going to cover very quickly the steps that are required in order to create styles. And I'm going to show you two different ways to create styles. And by way of illustration, we're going to recreate parts of this document. We're going to recreate this orange heading. We're going to recreate the body text and this numbered list, and also this bold text or these action items. So moving to Microsoft Word, what you see before you is the same text that was presented a moment ago. However, there's no formatting applied. Most of you will want to manually apply the formatting as, muscle reflex. I'm going to encourage you not to do that. From this point forward, you want to use styles. I'm going to show you two ways to do this. First, we'll apply the formatting manually, just as you're used to doing. This will help you adjust and get used to the concept of styles. So to begin, we want to select the text that we want to style. And in this case, it's going to be Bell, MT. I want it to be 12 points. And I also need to apply some paragraph spacing. And to do that, on Windows, you would click a little button in the lower right corner of the paragraph palette. But since I'm on a Mac, I'm going to have to come up here to the menu bar, click Format, click Paragraph. I want to add 7 points of space before and 7 points of space after. And I also want to control the line height. I want it to be exactly 14.5 points. This will give us our eyes a little more breathing room and a little more white space. So we'll click OK. Now that's how you're used to formatting your text. However, we can create a style based on this text that's already formatted. And to do that, we need to open the Styles pane. On Windows, you would see a little box in the lower right corner. You would click there to open the Styles pane. But since I'm on a Mac, I'm going to click this handy button right here. And we can see all of the styles that currently exist in this document. The text that is selected is the normal style plus some manual formatting. This is the stuff that we really want to avoid. So we're going to create a new style based on this formatted text. If you're on Windows, the New Style button will actually be in the lower left corner of the Styles pane. Click New Style. We need to give it a name, in this case, Body. The style type is Paragraph because we want it to apply to the entire paragraph. You notice that all the formatting is automatically selected from the formatting that we manually applied. The only other thing that I would say we need to do here is to click OK. So now you see we have a body style. With the text still selected, click Body, and that applies the style. You'll notice now it just says body. It doesn't have all of that other formatting information. The next way to create a style is directly from the Styles pane. And to do that, I'm going to start with heading 1 right here. Now, by default, Microsoft includes a style called heading 1. So we're going to modify this style. With the text selected, we can hover over the heading 1 style, click the drop-down arrow that appears, and select Modify Style. For the formatting, I'm going to choose Bell Gothic, and I'm going to choose black. I want this to be a very thick font. We also want this to be the burnt orange color, so we'll select that from the color palette. For the style for the following paragraph, what this means is when we press return, what paragraph type should appear next? Naturally, we want the body paragraph type to appear after a heading 1. So go ahead and select body for the style for the following paragraph. From the Format button, we see that we have a drop-down arrow. If we click it, we expose other options that we can format. In this case, I want to select paragraph. I want to select font. I want my font size to actually be 17. And let's go ahead and make it all caps also. Click OK. I also want to format the paragraph. Here we see that we have 12 points of line spacing before the paragraph. I actually want a lot more line space than that, so I'm going to make that 24. And I'm going to add 7 points of line space after. If we click the Line and Page Breaks tab, we have some pagination options that are worth noting. The Widow Orphan control will help you prevent a single line of text from being left behind either at the top of the page or at the bottom of the page. Keep with Next. You definitely want to make sure that this is selected for your headings, because that is going to keep the heading with the text that follows it. So for example, if your paragraph gets pushed down to the next page, you don't want your heading stranded at the bottom of the previous page. You want it to follow along. So go ahead and select Keep with Next. Keep lines together is very similar to Widow Orphan control. If we had a heading that was, say, 2 lines long, we wouldn't want it to split across a page break. So we're going to go ahead and keep those lines together. Click OK, click OK. And we see over here in our styles pane that heading 1 looks much different than it did before. Since our text is still selected, we can click the heading 1 style, and we see that that is now formatted as heading 1. On second thought, I don't really like that all caps, so I'm going to modify that again. I'm going to click the Format button, select Font, and I'm going to deselect all caps. Click OK, click OK. And you notice that I don't have to reapply the style, that any changes I made to the styles automatically reflected on the text. I know that I also have another heading 1 down here toward the bottom of the page. If I click anywhere in that paragraph and click heading 1, all of that formatting is automatically applied. What if I wanted to change the color of my headings? I could come over here, modify the style. I could select a different color. Let's go with red. No, let's make it different than orange. Let's go with green. Click OK. Notice that any text that was formatted with the heading 1 style is automatically updated. This is just a small hint into how important knowing styles can be. I'm going to undo that color change because I want to keep the orange color. And we're going to format this numbered list of steps. But I see some extra line breaks in here. And we can make that more apparent by turning on our hidden characters. So if you click the Pilcrow up here, you'll see all of your additional line breaks. We don't want any of those. We want our styles to control line spacing and page breaks. We don't want to manually add any of that information. So I'm just going to delete those extra breaks here really quickly. And the numbered list actually resembles the body text very closely. And so I'm going to select this text. I'm going to click body. And we see that the text is formatted as body text. But we also need it to be numbered. Well, traditionally, we're used to coming up here to the toolbar and clicking numbering. And that works, but it doesn't give us the orange numbers that sort of match our headings here. So we're going to have to actually create a new style with this text selected. We're going to click New Style. You give it a name. We're going to call it Numbered List. The style type is paragraph. We want this style to be based on body. And I'll show you why in just a moment. The style for the next following paragraph, we're going to leave that blank. By default, Microsoft Word will assign numbered list as the style for the following paragraph. Usually we don't have just one number, we have a series of numbers, and so typically you want another number to be your next paragraph. For the formatting, we're going to leave everything exactly the same, but we're going to come down here to the Format drop-down button, and we're going to select Numbering, click Customize. For the number position, select Right. What this does is it will align all of your numbers to the right. That way, if you get a 10 or 100, your tens and ones digits don't start creeping into your list over here. So we always want our numbers to align to the right. I don't know why Microsoft Word makes the default left. We want to customize the font, so let's click the font button. We want the font to be, we don't have our recently used typefaces, so we can type in here. Usually it brings up the font, but it doesn't appear to be. Bell Gothic Black. The size, let's make these numbers a little bit larger than the text. So let's select 14. The font color, we want to select that burnt orange color again. And we get a preview of what our number will look like. Click OK. We get a better preview of what our numbered list will look like. Go ahead and click OK. Click OK. And our numbered list is created. We can click the style to apply it to the text. There are a couple of items here that are numbered that are not steps. And we can get rid of those numbers simply by clicking at the beginning of the sentence and pressing backspace. Now notice I'm only deleting the numbers from the lines that the user does not have any action. So for example, the iPoint VTO activation window opens. That's not an action performed by the user. This is a result, and therefore it should not be numbered. So we're taking those numbers away. The last thing I want to show you is character styles. We had a couple of bold-faced texts. It looks like the author wants to make anything that the user clicks on bold, which makes it easier to find in the text. So what we need to do is rather than coming up here and clicking bold and creating a new style, we don't want to do that. Why? Because you would capture all of the other formatting, like the bell text and the line spacing. We don't want any of that. We want whatever text we have to be bold. So we're going to simply click New Style. We're going to call this Action. The reason I'm calling it Action rather than bold is because it's more descriptive. And what if 3 years from now somebody decides that we don't want our actions to be bold-faced, rather we want them to be blue text? So if we name it Action, it's more descriptive and it's applicable no matter what the formatting is that's applied to it. The style type, this is slightly different than what we've been doing. We're going to create a character style. And the only thing we need to do on this window is click the bold button. If we wanted the text to be only italic, we would select the I for italic. Click OK. Now, if we apply Action to the couple of items on this page, it doesn't really appear that we saved ourselves much time. I mean, after all, we could have very quickly selected this text, gone up here, clicked the B to make it bold, selected the next piece of text and make it bold. But that's not the idea here. The idea is if someday you need to make a change, you want to make it easy on yourself. So let's take that example of making the action a different color rather than being bold. So let's modify our style. I'm going to select the drop-down button for Action, select Modify Style. Rather than bold, I'm going to make it a very obnoxious red color so it stands out, and click OK. And as you can see, every piece of text that had Action applied to it was automatically changed. So you can start to understand that while it might have been quicker just to apply bold text to these two items, if we were working in a document that was a couple of 100 pages long that had scores or hundreds of actions in it, you wouldn't want to highlight each piece of text and click unbold and apply the color. You could very quickly modify the style, and that change would be replicated throughout your document. I'm going to undo this because I don't want my actions to be red. I want to show you one more thing when it comes to how important styles can be. Let's say our marketing department decided that our company typeface is no longer Bell. We're going to go with Arial. What we could do here is select our body, select Modify Style, select Arial, and click OK. Now notice something very important here. Not only did all of our body text update automatically, but also the numbered list. And that's because when we created that numbered list style, it was based upon the body style. So any changes that we make to the body style cascade down to any style that's based upon it. This is a very important concept in using styles. In summary, what we have done is I've shown you how to create a style based on text that you have formatted manually, as you're accustomed to doing. I've showed you how to create a style by modifying an existing style. I've also taught you how to create a new style based on another style by way of adding a new style on top. If you have any questions about any of this information, please don't hesitate to ask, send me emails, or stop by and visit my office hours. Thank you.